Hi, good morning. This is Julie J. Auto Trading Strategies. I'm going to be talking today about the mini package. This is the package that has the market analyzer template with all the bloodhound solvers on it, an LRT lines indicator, an opening range indicator, put some chart templates on that with the momentum. So it's basically for existing Bloodhound users. So if you've already got a license for Bloodhound, this package is what you may be interested in getting for a couple of reasons. Either you're interested in the LRT lines indicator or the opening range indicator or another indicator that we have and would like to see it used in a trading session during the month before purchasing, and or you're new to Bloodhound and would like to learn how to code a little bit. So it's a good package to get for that reason. You get the market analyzer with the Bloodhound templates, so you can see how that's put together and see how that operates during a trade session during the month. And you also get to ask questions about how to code Bloodhound with the two indicators that are used, the LRT lines indicator and the opening range indicator. So with that said, let's take a look at the package, and this is what it looks like. I've got the market analyzer on top that shows a higher time frame trend up here in the upper right of weekly, daily, 60, 15-minute. And you can see the market is kind of mixed for most of the markets, except for the NQ is still on that upward trend higher. The next thing that you see is some data where I go over ATR, prior close, volume, net percentage change, and last price. But here we come into the Bloodhound solvers on the left-hand side. So I've coded on here whether you're trading above or below the prior high and low, above or below the prior close, and outside of a range that I've put together for a 15-minute time period. So if you're trading outside of a 15-minute time period range, there's a pretty good chance that that could continue for an outside trade session day in that direction. A good chance of that happening. Not always. Sometimes price will reverse on you, like we're seeing here in the crude. That range is coming in and out. We had an outside excursion this morning, and then it's flattening out right now in the mid-morning session. So these Bloodhound templates in the market analyzer are very helpful because if there's a zero printing in the analyzer, that pretty much means that there's not a directional movement for linear regression for those time periods that I've chosen, or momentum. You can put your own time period on here if you do not want the 5-minute, 15-minute, or 60-minute. You can certainly customize that to say a 240-minute, a 30-minute, and a 5-minute, or whatever you'd prefer. Right now I have momentum on a 3-minute, 15-minute, and 60-minute. So again, you can change that and customize the time settings if you swing trade versus day trade. And this last column is for an amalgamation of that higher time frame trend in one row, in one button. So I've got a little condition to pull out when a market may be trending directionally, or directional movement. I think it's better to say directional movement versus trend anymore. So with that said, let's take a look at the indicators themselves. There are two indicators. The one that I have highlighted here with the slope on it is the linear regression indicator, and the one with the purple and yellow boxes is the opening range indicator. So let's take off the opening range indicator for now and just look at the linear regression indicator. The linear regression indicator is designed to provide that location on the chart of a trend condition, or above would be positive and below would be negative. The indicator is bounded by a channel that you can customize the settings for. Pull the indicator up so that you can see it right here. So I've got it on 1.53, 5, 7, and 7.2. If you would like to play around with these settings and see what a 2, 4, 6, 8, 8.2 looks like, you can stretch that range out a little bit on the offset multiplier. The point of this offset multiplier is not so much that you want to contain price so that price never reaches the end. You could set that last one out to a 13 or a 15 and price never will get up there, or very rarely. In fact, you could set it on a, let's just put it on a 13 and show you that very rarely will it make it to that last level. And there's some tricks you can do with just having that information alone. If it does get to that last level, that's like your very last line of defense, and it's very much likely to, there you go, turn over at that point. That's like the last tag, gotcha, right? So you can set an algo up to just trade whenever a low crosses this channel line, but the close is above it. You know what I'm saying? So, and then get a signal long. And we'll be going through how to code Bloodhound using these indicators in the trade room during the month. And that should help new Bloodhound users learn how to use Bloodhound to get trade signals and use the product. If you don't have a version of Bloodhound, get in touch with me and I can probably get you a trial version for 1 month that you're testing the mini package out for that first month before you make a purchase decision. So let me know and I'll reach out and see if I can do that for you. So it's a great way to get used to the product, to try it out for the first time, and or even if you are a proficient user, just to come in and check out some custom indicators and see how we use them intraday for trading. I'm going to put this back to my standard settings. And because the 7.2 is generally an area that on average in a normal distribution should be just about right to contain price. It's not, anything that's certifiable, or, it's not going to say that your price isn't going to poke out of there a little bit more or less. It's just about a cycle up and down on multiple time frames. This extends out 30-minute charts, 60-minute charts. In fact, we'll take a look at that now so that you can see. The same principles apply. This is just about ready, where you get that overbought, oversold condition on the linear regression, so that you might consider, if you would like that reversion to the mean trade back to the middle of the trading area. I see that I still have a 1 minute opening range on my chart. So this linear regression indicator also has some different settings on it that you may like using. I'll show you what those are. You have a fast channel. So let me take the slow channels off and show you the fast channel. You can also modify that. I have a 1.5 as the default setting, but you might try a 2 or a 1. And ideally, what we're trying to accomplish is you want the wick to hit the line, right? You're not trying to set it so far out of there that it will never reach it, because the point to this is to be able to grab a signal somewhere off of a line. And what I like to do is find a a reversion, over extension to the downside in an uptrend. So here you see you have your LR1 nice and sloping up, and then you got the price moving below that 1.5 channel. And so when you look for reversals at locations, so there's your prior day close right here, get that reversal trade, and there's your trend continuation for your session. So you can use this to help time trades and get signals, show you how to get that wick below the lower fast channel line and a reversal off of that in an uptrend, code that in Bloodhound, and then we can back test these results in Bloodhound, so that you can get ideas. So you can say, I want a linear regression long, I want that 4 sloping up, and then I want to take bar closes above the 4 and just back test that one condition on your various time frames. So it helps you go through the exercise of using indicators and using the tools Bloodhound and Blackbird to get signals for trade ideas. So let's put this back on a 5-minute chart, and I will remove the linear regression indicator, and I'll put the opening range indicator back on real quick, and we'll look at that for a second. And this indicator can be customized. You can definitely put your opening outcry time frame in here for your RTH session. So for crude, it would be 8 to 9 o'clock, and the pre-session start time would be 8, and this is Central Time. And you can hit apply, and there are your boxes again. So by default, I have it very clearly labeled night and day. That's to help me visualize where I am at any given time. Am I in the ETH setting, or am I in the Globex 1 hour initial balance? Or the RTH session 1 hour initial balance. Globex is purple, or the RTH 1 hour initial balance. Price will do various things depending upon the width of the Globex. The wider the Globex width, the narrower your chance of an extended move. If you have a nice small or medium size Globex, you may have a better chance for that outside excursion, if that makes sense. So like today, we had a huge, gigantic Globex, and prices returning to the middle of the box. And so you can clearly see where that middle is with this indicator, where price may likely come back if it is going to be a reversion to the mean day. And to make those determinations, you'd look at your market analyzer and see how many zeros you're getting in here versus red prints. If it starts flashing all red, then you want to be going with that trend continuation back to the downside. But right now it's, well, we had very, very strong momentum to that downside move. So, but just using these indicators in conjunction with each other and knowing, from empirical use on the size of those ranges, meaning whether the price is going to extend out even further or not, the likelihood probability, all we have is in trading are probabilities. Price is going to turn around or keep going. Another thing you can do is measure these boxes and use measured moves from them. So you can take the size of your box, right, and target measured moves, and that's looks like exactly where price went as a target. So that's helpful to know. And there's what I like to do on the 1 minute opening range is use that as a pivot. If I'm below that 1 minute opening range, I want to go short. If I'm above it, I want to go long. And if I'm back inside the opening range, I sit on my hands, right, generally. And so right here we can see that we entered the 1 minute opening range. So I would have been waiting for more confirmation about what price is likely to do. Right now it's sort of directionless, going sideways, not really much that you can do otherwise except to say that it's a bearish makeup, so you would be looking for shorts. And I'll show you tips and tricks that we use using momentum and other things to place trade decisions using these indicators. So between the two indicators, the linear regression and the opening range indicator with the market analyzer, I think it's a pretty good system to get acclimated with using Bloodhound and Blackbird. So you have a month in the trade room to get your hands-on trading. And so when the trade room is open, come in and ask questions and chat with us, and you can see the live trading. We'll be coding some indicators always in the trade room with coding Bloodhound for different trade setups, and then running those in the Blackbird and back testing. So come check it out, or pick up an indicator. You can also just purchase one, a lifetime license for one, and many different ways to access these indicators for NinjaTrader 8. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, and see you in the trade room.